What's up, everyone? I'm Johnny,
And I'm Elliot.
and welcome to the Sport Mind Avenue podcast, the intersection of all things currently happening in sports and the psychological impacts it can have on athletes in the community.
And if you want to learn more about how to improve your mental understanding of sports, or you just wish to view more podcasts like this one, then go check out mind-designsports.org and get your head in the game.
Welcome back to the Sport Mind Avenue podcast, the intersection of all things currently happening in sports and the mental impacts it can have on athletes in the community. On today's episode, we have the Olympic recap thus far. We have the big Simone Biles story that we want to talk about. We have MLB trade deadline and NBA free agency. Because of all the info we have to talk about, there's no Ben's breakdown and no draft today. So let's get right into it. How are we doing today, boys?
Just been so distracted about the Olympics and all these. It was hard for me to even upload the last podcast because there's been so much sporting news going on. But it has been a crazy 2 weeks for the Olympics. Baseball, we got NHL and NBA free agency going crazy right now. So let's get into it.
Yeah, man. Let's start off. Well. Oh, Elliot's doing well too, everyone.
Just skip over that.
Let's get into the Olympic recap. So USA currently in the lead for medal total with 73. China's in the lead for golds with 32. The UF squad is currently ranked number 7 in the world if we were our own country.
I mean, you guys got Caleb Dressel, man. That guy is a machine. Let's just talk about that. And
I mean, he does hold half of our gold medals right now.
It's crucial. We just know how to recruit. We know how to recruit. That's what matters.
So yeah, guys, I don't know if you've been watching. Last night I stayed up and I watched Team USA play Spain at like 12:30 after midnight. And it's a good game. And I think after watching that France game, France played a great game and we lost and we missed the shots. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think that was a good loss for us. We need to wake up. Everyone's clicking now. Everyone's making their threes. I mean, Tatum was feeling it last night. Durant, they're playing at their standard. Booker and Holiday and Middleton, they just had gotten done with the finals. They were tired that first game. Now looking at it, I thought that team was a little under. It wasn't as stacked. It's pretty stacked. I was watching the game last time. Like, this team's still pretty damn good. Like, you got Devin Booker. I mean, you got Damian Lillard, arguably the best point guard in the game. Kevin Durant, arguably the best player in the game still. So, I mean, Tatum's probably the biggest up and rising star in the game. So, I mean, this team still should win the gold easily. No excuses,
Yeah, it's finally nice to see him click on all cylinders. We've been waiting for it up to this point, and everyone's been really concerned about it because, we've lost 3 games in total. Like, that doesn't happen for us. We don't lose.
We lost to, like, Nigeria and teams that weren't that good. Like, France is a good team. Like, I'm not going to take away France from being. France played a great game. I mean, France has Rudy Gobert, the Evan Fournier. I'll get into him later. $80 million a year. Give me a break. But he was going off for France. They got a good team there. It's a great team.
Conspiracy talk. Okay. What if at the beginning they were all doing badly because they didn't want to work with each other while they were trying to negotiate these trade talks and getting people to join each other's teams? And when people would say no, they said, "I'm not going to pass it to you." And then that's when we started to crumble.
I mean, maybe. That's not even like not a bad point, I guess. No, I mean, bro, it is crazy though, because like his thing is NBA free agency, right? So if the NBA season ended in a non-COVID season, it would end in early June, right? We were in mid-July when the season ended. So we have the NBA draft was in the middle of the Olympics, and NBA free agency is in the middle of the Olympics. So
it's been kind of nuts.
It's crazy because these guys are on the same damn team and they're playing against each other on like France and Spain because most of those guys on the Spain and France teams, in Argentina, those guys still, a lot of them play in the NBA. So even them, it's crazy to think like it's weird. You know what I mean? Like they're in the middle of free agency, yet they're playing for Team USA. Like Is there anyone? Yeah, is there anyone specifically on the U.S. team that's in free agency like right now? Like who? Durant's not free agent. Levine's not. Tatum's obviously not.
Why?
Kawhi's not on the team.
Okay.
As
I
far
think-
as the biggest players go, I don't believe so. No.
No.
Okay,
But-
because I wasn't sure. I was thinking that like, is there anyone? But it's still crazy. Like, but Evan Fournier, he's balling out for France right now. He signed a 4-year deal with the Knicks yesterday. So
Luka's been balling. Love watching him play.
Luka, man, and then, yeah, Olympic basketball this year has been a little bit more entertaining. I kind of like it. The U.S. lost to France. Let's get like last night against Spain, I was on my toes a little bit. Like, okay, Spain's like this was a good game. I feel like this isn't like 1992. This isn't 2008, 2012. Like these aren't. No offense, this U.S. team is still
Why-
good, but
Why did
the other
you
countries
why did
got
you call
credit.
out 1992 specifically?
because that team was the dream team. No one was beating that team. Yeah, I was looking through every roster since 92. I would say that 12 after the 92 team, the 2012 team was pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Kobe, LeBron, KD.
Chris Paul, like that team was nasty. The 08 team was good too. When you had that was like younger LeBron, Cade. No, it was LeBron, Chris Paul. Every year. I mean, there's the U.S. should never.
That
lose
was
a-
freshman LeBron too.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, it was
LeBron
the
was on
young
the
time.
Athens team too.
Mhm.
LeBron was on the Athens team that won bronze. That was the last team to lose in Athens in 04.
LeBron was on the Athens team.
Yeah, it was him,
Yeah.
Melo, young Wade, Dwayne Wade. Oh yeah, Dwayne Wade was
They
on
were, and they lost. It was
What?
insane.
Argentina,
Why were they on the Athens team?
led by Manu Ginobili.
Wait. I have a question, guys. Do you know the answer to this?
What's up?
Do you have to be born from said country to be
Okay,
on said team?
Let Elliot. I'm glad you brought this question up because here's why. Yesterday, I actually read Hakeem Olajuwon, born in Nigeria,
Mhm.
right? Played for the Rockets, 2-time NBA title winner, one of the greatest centers to play the game, right? He was drafted in '85. I think he was drafted in '84 when Jordan went. He was the first overall pick over Jordan because Houston took him, and I remember watching The Last Dance. So Hakeem Olajuwon is Nigerian, but he wanted to be on the '92 Dream Team, the Dream Team, but he couldn't. He wasn't eligible because he didn't have citizenship yet. I read on this last night. In '96, he was on the U.S. team because he got his citizenship. Because Nigeria didn't have a basketball team back then, so he was able to be on the '96 team and won a gold. So
Yeah.
that's a great question. So yes, if you do get citizenship, dual citizenship in a country in the U.S., you can always play for the U.S. team. However, I bet you in 2021, if Hakeem Olajuwon was playing, he'd be on the Nigerian team and not on the U.S. team because Nigeria has like a real team now.
Yeah.
So, but in '96 there wasn't. But he was on the
So you-
'96 team.
So you're telling me D Wade and LeBron both had citizenship in Athens?
Well, no. I mean, I'm just saying Hakeem Olajuwon lived in Houston for 15 years. He became a citizen of the U.S. Because
Why
But
would,
why-
why would they need to be Greek, Elliot?
yeah, what?
Because
What?
that's where they played for
For the
that country.
Olympics.
For the Olympics, Hakeem Olajuwon lived.
They
in the
played on
United States
Team
a lot.
USA.
What are you talking about? They played for Athens then.
They played in
Olajuwon played for
Athens.
the Rockets.
Oh
They
my
played
god.
in Athens.
You didn't ask that
I'm
question?
stressed.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
I'm stressed.
Hakeem Olajuwon is an NBA player. LeBron
I'm
is
not
never played
talking about a
his life.
game.
Oh no, Elliot.
No, I'm not gonna that.
From what I got, what you
Alright.
said was that
Hakeem Olajuwon was not a citizen in '92. He became a citizen in
this
after
all
the
stemmed
Olympics.
this all stemmed from you saying that LeBron and D Wade played for Athens.
They played in Athens in '04
Okay.
on the team US team and won bronze.
Okay, I got that now.
Okay, yeah.
That's
yeah.
what brought up this whole topic.
Sorry, that was me misgranting information, but no, Dwayne Wade and LeBron were on the US '04 team that
Oh,
lost in
man.
Athens, Greece. There
Okay.
you go.
All right.
You confused me like crazy when you
So,
said it. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way they played there.
All right, let's move this. I found a tweet
Wait.
this morning that was really entertaining to me, pertains to the U.S. baseball team. So it's from Piers Morgan. It said, given America just lost to Japan at baseball in the Olympics, it may be time to stop calling the USA domestic baseball competition the World Series.
Yes.
Let me hop in here real
Japanese
quick.
baseball.
I think that should happen. It should stop being
Let
called the
me
World
break
Series.
this down from a fundamental standpoint. The entire MLB is made up of a giant demographic of players, not just American born. Therefore, it makes sense to be called the World Series. On top of this, Mr. Morgan, the U.S. does not send our superstar players to the Olympics.
Where was Mike
baseball.
Trout? Where was Bryce Harper?
If
Exactly.
you want to
We'll be
see what
there.
we can do, write a letter to the U.S. Baseball Committee. Tell them to send out the superstars. Because guess what? Our prospects have been hanging in pretty well with these superstar Japan players.
Yeah,
Like,
these guys
get
play
out of
the
here,
MLB.
man.
And here's the thing, Johnny, I'm glad you brought this up because the U.S. that'd be such the good thing for hockey. Hockey's bringing back NHL players this year. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
You want the pros to play like you want it, man. Like I am like
It would
I
be
was
a slaughterhouse.
when I saw that baseball was back in the Olympics, I'm like, oh, we're bringing back the MLB guys, right?
That's what I thought
Nope.
too.
It's a bunch of these amateur like double-A players. I want
But
like-
here's how we fix it though, right? Here,
Let's get the
ready for
MLB
this?
yeah.
Here's how we fix it. You shorten the MLB season whenever the Summer Olympics is around by 2 weeks. Those 2 weeks, you get a break and you get to go play for your country.
Yeah.
Now you aren't missing MLB service time and you do get to enjoy the Olympics. And there's no problems with these prospects coming into play and no dumb tweets from Piers Morgan saying, oh, we suck at baseball,
Morgan's-
even though it's our
Piers
prospect.
Morgan's not even a sports guy. He's a news anchor.
Also, I think Noah Syndergaard agrees with me because he called him an idiot sandwich, which is 10 out of 10 by him.
Piers Morgan is not even a sports. Isn't he like a news anchor?
He's in,
He's
yeah,
a he's British. He's a
I just wanted to bring that up because that's the dumbest take I've ever seen, and I would love to have a conversation with him about it.
It's okay. When we put Mike Trout and Bryce Harper and Mookie Betts on that team doesn't like
Disgusting.
Creighton Kershaw. I can name you like yes, there's a lot of good international players in the Major League Baseball.
I'm pretty sure the player that we had with the most MLB service time there was Todd Frazier. It's like, come on, man.
Jesus.
On a side note for you Red Sox fans, though, Tristan Casas, a boy from SoFlo, balling out in the Olympics. 2 clutch dingers, and he might be getting called up for you guys in September. So be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, we little 4
Big
games
fan
in,
of
little
him.
biggie though. The Razor, we had a little raise, but yeah, Jimmy Duran, who's on the Red Sox, was supposed to be on the U.S. team, and he got called up, so he didn't get to go to Japan. Which honestly, I'd rather be on the Red Sox low key than be in Tokyo, just because like I feel like again like if it was MLB guys, that'd be sick, but it wasn't even MLB guys. It was just a bunch of a bunch of old
Imagine it's U.S. Olympic baseball against Japan. The 9th inning, we're down by 3. They bring Ohtani into pitch. Mike Trout steps up to the plate.
That would be insane.
Like, come on. How are we not doing this? This is an electric factory waiting to happen.
In the middle of the MLB season.
All they have to do is just suspend the season for 2 weeks. That's
Yeah,
all
but
they have to do in the future.
That alone
That's
takes
what I'm
so
saying,
much
like-
time of talking and getting written through.
But I
to
bet they'd be
actually
willing to do it.
processed.
That's what I'm saying.
You
Why
have
don't we
4 years from now to do it? So
why don't we just like the MLB is such a long effing season. Like if anything, do what the NHL does. Shorten the NHL does it too. Just do what the NHL does. I get it
from them.
because the NHL is like, okay, because in 2018 they had the amateurs go and it wasn't as fun. I wasn't enjoying like watching men's hockey. And the thing is it was like Germany won, like Russia won the gold, but it was like the KHL guys versus like all the amateurs. So
Okay.
It's
Okay,
like-
guys, I have a statistic. So this is probably why the MLB does not want to go in the middle of their season to go play for the Olympics. Each U.S. Olympian will earn $37,500 for each gold medal at the Olympics, $22,500 for a silver, and $15,000 for a bronze. And for team sports, the pot is split evenly. So the only way these people are getting any money from participating in these sports is probably through sponsorships or the fact that they have a gold medal, and that boosts their likeness and their overall revenue and worth as an athlete. But direct earnings, they're not earning anything, especially in a sport like baseball where you have so many team members on a team. You're not getting anything for it.
I mean, from a business standpoint, that point's kind of irrelevant when you think of they make millions of dollars every year to play a sport. They also make millions in sponsorships every year to play a sport. Now imagine how much more money you can get out of said sponsorships and brand deals if you go participate in the Olympics and get a gold medal for your team. Like, you make infinitely more money compared to if you just sit at home and you play your little, I don't know, 2 weeks in August of baseball, trying to pennant chase in 2 months.
Here's my thing. If my thing is exactly the trade deadline stays the same, they can make trades during the Olympics, right? Like that would have been fun. Like, can you imagine that? Like some of these guys on the U.S. team in Tokyo were like, "Oh, you just got traded to like the Mets this week," but like you're all way. Like seriously, for every 4 years, if you're gonna, I think baseball is out of the Olympics in 2024, but it's coming back in 2028. Whatever. In next 7 years, let's get these. It's in the U.S. Get some Olympic games in Dodger Stadium, Angel Stadium. Like, let's get the MLB.
That would be
guys
crazy.
Like, you guys watch the World Baseball Classic, right?
It's amazing. I mean, I don't watch a lot.
It's incredible to watch. You watch the superstars getting to play in this. Now imagine this in the Olympics, where it matters for big time medals and it matters for your country.
Yeah.
Like, that is huge. And the fact that they haven't implemented this is kind of shocking when you see how successful it can be for the NHL. Like,
guys, Olympic
something
hockey,
they need to focus on.
The NHL is just so, when the NHL guys play Olympic hockey, it is just so fun to watch. Like it's electrifying.
Yeah. But yeah, as far as the MLB goes, they should really be working to implement something like that, like a 2-week vacation, if you will.
Absolutely. What was it? The swimming was pretty crazy this year. We can talk a little bit just about before we get into like other stuff. The Olympics. Caleb Dressel, what a machine that man is. Ledecky. Actually, guys, I think the greatest rivalry in the Olympics this year was Titmus versus Ledecky. That was a great.
I agree.
Rivalry.
That was fun to watch.
They raced each other because she got 2 against her and she got 2 against Ledecky. Ledecky got 2 against Titmus, and Titmus is Andrea Titmus, I think is her full name, but she got 2 versus Ledecky. She got the shorter one. She won the 200 meter and I think she won the 400 and the 200 meter, and Ledecky won the 800 meter and the 1500 meter. So I was really funny. It was cool to see they like split there because they're more known for their long distance swimming. I think another thing about swimming this year was they actually added a couple swims. So to all you swimming fans, they added the 1500, which I thought was really cool, and they added the 1800. So these 2 longer marathon kind of swims in the pool were kind of neat to watch. And it gave like a chance for Katie Ledecky, who didn't win in the 200 and 400 meters. She got to win even longer distance ones in the 800 and the 1500. So that was cool to watch. Even more swims this year. What I love about swimming is just, and that goes for track and field too. It's just like how like it's so neat because you got the 50-meter swim, which is like so short. It's a sprint. You got to be like that, like go, like it's like, or like the 100 meter sprint in track. Then you got like the marathon swim, but you have to be a totally different swimmer than in the 100 meter or the 50 meter versus the 1500 to like the 400 meter, because they're such longer swims. So I think it's cool. That's why I love watching swimming so much, because you see like swimming can get, I guess, the same, but I don't think so. I think it's just so fun to watch. There's always it's always it was really balanced this year too. The US didn't like fully dominate, which I kind of thought was cool. Like some people from China won in the Olympics. Some Australia had a great swim this year. Yeah, it was great. Swimming is always one of my favorite things to watch. I just want to talk a little about like Ledecky got a couple golds. Caleb Dressel became not Michael Phelps, but he became like the new man of the
He
U.S.
is
team.
the guy.
He's the man. Like Ledecky's the woman of the U.S. women team, like that represents, and Caleb Dressel was kind of taking Phelps' spot as like this guy's the man because he'll be back in 2024 probably. It's only 3 years away. Like remember it's 3 years.
It's shortened, yeah.
Long it's gonna be in 3 years. I mean, Ledecky's gonna be back. Ledecky's on Dressel and Ledecky are only gonna be 27. They're gonna be in their primes in 3 years. I won't even say they are in their primes, but like for an athlete, 27 in most sports,
that's typically the prime.
Prime. So it's crazy to think how many more golds and medals they're gonna win in Paris. So
yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Let's get into.
Wait. Before we go away from the Olympics, I still had some stuff to say. First, Simone Biles competed today in the Olympics and on the balance beam and came home with the bronze.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to transition in. So that was fucking perfect, actually, Elliot. Kids show. Yeah, let's talk about the Simone Biles situation. The biggest story I'd say of the Olympics so far.
I think the biggest story the last like 20 years in the Olympics, other than the Ryan Lochte thing.
Yeah.
That was Ryan Lochte was just scummy, but this is more. This goes for our podcast and just for all Mind Design. I mean, Simone Biles.
Wait. Before you talk about your opinions on it, say what happened. For all
okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Simone Biles. Johnny, yeah, you go, John.
All right. So Simone Biles is considered arguably the GOAT of our gymnastics team. Has been building up the hype around the Olympics, leading up to it, her wearing her GOAT leotard, all of that kind of stuff. She participates in, I forget what it was. What was it? Anyway, she was participating in an event and she ended up getting the twisties, which is where you can't really tell up from down, kind of like an onset vertigo type thing. And she withdrew from the next couple events and then, came back to place third in the balance beam. Well, the big topic has been about the mental health battle that she's been dealing with, which is something that's been growing a lot lately, as we've seen Naomi Osaka also have this issue. Like, we're seeing athletes really step up and talk about their mental health. And I think it's something that we need to keep watching for the future. And it's something as young athletes, they need to develop more instead of just your physical standards. So
she withdrew from the floor competition, which is where they like run and jump and
the balance beam today though. Which is like I mean I actually was really shocked to see that. Like
she wasn't planning on even placing in the balance beam. She's just like, I just want to go out and do it one more time. And she ended up getting third, which good for her. For what she's struggling with, that's incredible and more power to her. What I want to talk about is the pressure she faces calling herself the GOAT, and B, the pressure she's faced from the internet unfairly about her withdrawals from competition. So whoever wants to start off, go ahead.
No, you can go first because I think I've talked a lot. So
I think what has happened to her will definitely take away her GOAT status. Because I mean, when you look at some of the greatest of all times, they've fought through adversity and just continue to compete. And I've heard multiple different reasons for why she hasn't competed. One being that she takes ADHD medication and she couldn't get her medication over to Japan. Others that she just didn't feel like she was in the right headspace, that she could compete at the top level. But I don't think that. I think it's good that she's definitely a strong woman for telling the world and the country she's trying to defend in these Olympic Games that she just can't do it. After 4 years of training and taking time. She's had all this time to reflect on her mental game, and even more so when the Olympics were pushed off a year. Um, Now I could definitely see how maybe even COVID took some of this away from her. She might have been not been able to go practice as much and be involved with people and then be in front of a crowd like she is now, which could definitely take a toll on her, but it could also take a toll on the rest of the athletes. And there are many other people that are considered the goats of their sports that are playing in these Olympic Games, especially in basketball. I mean, they're literally the greatest players in the game that are playing right now. She's not the only person that can be considered the GOAT out there. So I think it's a little
PhD
bit
Ledecky,
selfish
yeah.
for her to say that it's all on her, especially when the person that took her place in these Olympic Games was
Lee,
someone who
Suni Lee won
paid.
the gold. Suni Lee won
Yeah,
the
she won the gold.
Mhm.
So
all
what's to say
around.
that she was the better
I
athlete
gotta say,
in these?
all around. I mean,
Um,
the thing is,
Hello.
hello,
you know,
Ben.
Simone Biles. Yeah, sorry, no, Simone Biles. I wasn't sure he's talking. Simone Biles. Not that I got sick of it, dude, but like every goddamn day, Simone Biles. So it's like even for her, I feel like every NBC every day. Like I think there needs to be like
Yeah.
restrictions sometimes. Simone Biles, Simone Biles, Simone Biles. Like guys, gymnastics is cool. It's fun. It's a good sport. But let's just stop talking about her. Like let's get her even for her sake. You think she really likes all that? I don't even think she likes all that attention. She hated it. That's why she was hating it. I remember watching the team event, and when she withdrew from the competition, she didn't want the camera on her. They kept
Mhm.
showing her like cheering for her team. Like that's what she's supposed to do. Like cheer for her team. Like what a
Yeah.
team player. Like, but it's like all they do is suck her up to her too. It's like some like and not
Yeah.
only that. Suni
Even
Lee
Michaela Maroney, when she won her Olympic gold medal, she was like, everyone's talking about Simone Biles and defending Simone Biles for not competing, and they're taking the moment away from her that she's been waiting for
guys,
over 4 years.
US won silver in the team event. I mean, it wasn't like they like didn't medal like and they're
Right.
like Simone Biles. Like I get it. She's the best gymnast. She was the best gymnast probably of our lifetime. She dominated in Rio. She was also a little bit younger. I think, dude, listen, that's the one sport that being 24, that's old in gymnastics. That's
Yeah.
old. And she went out there and gave her all. I know. I don't know. Like, I'm neutral about her. Like, I always cheer for her. I'm cheering for her. I heard she had vertigo. And listen, gymnastics is something that is just. I was watching like these people that do gymnastics. Anyone that's in the Olympics doing gymnastics is a freak of nature. I mean,
Yeah.
I was watching the men's and the women's. The way they just flip up in the air without no fear at all. I mean,
It's art.
but she blacked out in the air. I mean, that's scary. Like
Mhm.
that. Can you imagine her going? She could break her neck. She could kill herself in that sense. She's pretty high up in the air too when she did like the pole vault, the vault. The thing is though, back to what I was saying was NBC. I'm gonna criticize NBC here. NBC does a great job with its coverage, but God, every goddamn day, it was just I was just so sick of it. Like, stop talking about it. Like talk about other athletes. Like, focus on the athletes that are winning the gold, like in like judo or like I know sports aren't as popular. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so sick and tired of like gymnastics. Or talk about the other gymnasts. Suni Lee won a gold. The other girl, what's her name? She was 18, the white one. She was white. No, I'm saying what because our team was like our gymnastics team was so diverse. We had like an Asian, a African American. The Childs. She was good too. She was great in the team event. Like no one was talking about her. No one was talking about like, or they weren't focusing enough on her. Like
Yeah.
everything was about Simone Biles, and even for Simone Biles' mental health, that's where I go in. Like the media, I blame this more on the media too. The media put a lot of pressure on Simone Biles, like a lot of pressure. And even when she withdrew, all they did was put her on the spotlight. Here she is watching her team. Again, I'm glad she stayed and watched her team. That's what she should do, unless she like unconscious. She should stay and watch her team. You know. So I'm kind of going over the place with it. I think Simone Biles did a great job talking about mental health. I think, especially gymnastics, it's a really mental sport. It's very, even though it's a team that she withdrew from the team thing. It's very individualistic. You know what I mean? It's all about you doing. It's up to you, and when you do your routine. So, I think.
Yeah, I want to say my piece real quick, and then we can keep talking. As far as Simone goes, I argue this makes her even more the GOAT. Here's why. She has the statistics to back it up. She is unbelievable, the best I've ever seen do gymnastics ever. This makes her more of a GOAT because she's tackling an issue head on that many athletes are terrified to tackle, which is also why she's getting this increased media presence, because no one else is doing what she's doing right now. And when you do it on an international stage like this, you're going to get an unfair amount of criticism, an unfair amount of coverage because of how big of a situation this really is. So I think this, more credit to her, honestly, for being able to battle back from this and at least place in the beam. That's huge. Simone is an incredible athlete. I think she put a lot of pressure on herself before the Olympics, but at the same time, she was also prepared. And when you get there and something happens where you get the twisties, you get vertigo, whatever, then it really does mess up your mental game and can cause you to just not place at all. So more credit to her for withdrawing, getting her feet back under her, relearning. I think this makes her even more influential, even more the GOAT at the end of the day. As far as the media coverage of other athletes or other gymnasts, I agree with you. She gets way too much coverage, but it's also because of what they're covering.
Well, no, and
that's just what I want to say.
My thing is with Michael Phelps, though, I don't know. I watched the 12 and the 16, like the 08. Like, Michael Phelps is the greatest Olympian ever. And he got a lot of coverage, but not that, like, this is like every goddamn time I turn on NBC, Simone Biles. Like, stop talking about it. Like,
yeah, well, we also have to go back to what happened 5 years ago with Larry Nassar, their team doctor, who sexually abused them, and how this became a whole
different. That's another tag.
No, I think
there
are some of the people on the gymnastics team talked about how they were forced to compete even when they were suffering and they were hurt or they weren't in the game because of Larry Nassar. You're just like, no, like, you're okay, go in. And now that he's not there to force them to compete or say that like nothing's wrong with them, then she has this opportunity to withdraw and to recover, which is great for her. And I think it's great that they don't have to deal with something like that anymore.
Yeah. I think I forgot about the team doctor that like that was a whole nother thing.
That's a whole other hour-long conversation.
I remember Ali Raisman.
But that definitely has to have something to do with it. I mean, it's not something
it directly correlates to some extent.
Yeah, I know, Elliot. It's a great point.
I agree.
It's a great point. I just think Simone Biles, at first I thought she was being a little bit like, okay, like, here we go. Like, she's tapping out. Like, she couldn't like perform under the pressure. But then after hearing about the vertigo rumor and then hearing about her meds and then hearing about this and that and rewatching it again and seeing her, like, I feel bad. Like, like just all the media attention she was getting. And I was kind of like, I told you, I got sick of it. I'm sure she's sick of it. Like, I'm saying, I was just so sick of hearing about her. And I think she's a very humble person. I'm sure she was sick about hearing about herself. I would not like to be heard about. I like getting talked about, but like, it's just like, it's so much pressure when you're talked about for 24 hours for 2 weeks straight. That's what's going on. Like, she's making Simone Biles competes in the beam. Like, that made like the biggest headline in the Olympics. Just her coming back. Like, and that's a ball, and that good for her for coming back and getting the bronze. Great props to her for getting that. I just think everything that she does is like on a microscope.
It does suck.
There are hundreds of other U.S. athletes that have dominated in their own events. Talk about them too.
I was just about to say, like, there are so many other athletes that they'll compete in the Olympics maybe 3 times and win gold every time, but they're not going to be talked about. especially like taekwondo or boxing or whatever it might be, or ping pong. They're not going to be the center of attention every year, but she was the center of attention during the Olympics and off screen,
No, I would.
uh, off the Olympics too, because of what had happened behind the scenes with the doctor and stuff. So she's been in the news for way longer than the Olympics. So
Yeah.
when the Olympics comes on, everyone expects her to be this great contender when she's still suffering from things that have happened in the past Olympics. And trying to get over that stuff, and it just affects her. And maybe also the fact that she doesn't have her ADHD medication with I know Ben can talk about this too, but as being someone who has had been put on medication, it's hard to do something without your meds, especially when you've been taking them ever since you were a little kid.
Absolutely.
To go out and take, for me, it was to take like a big exam, and to not have my medication, I would suffer from extreme anxiety. I'd tense up, I would sweat like crazy, and I couldn't do anything. And I could imagine the same thing goes to her in these Olympic competitions. If she doesn't have these medications, she's probably that put her in this hyper focus mode, to go out and compete in front of her country and other countries on this worldwide stage, and not have something that keeps her back down on earth. I can definitely see how that affects her mentally and physically and emotionally, literally in every aspect of her. Oh, I don't know. I think it's probably has to something. It's the culmination of everything that just stressed her out. Like, you can't pinpoint one exact issue and say this is why she has anxiety.
Mhm.
This is why she couldn't do it. It's probably the culmination of all these things she's been through her whole life. She's still a young lady, and having this much pressure on her is a lot.
Yeah, and I think the reason the media coverage is so excessive is just given the whole timeline of the way this is panned out.
Inner dominance.
You saw her dominate in the Olympics before. Then you see her earlier this year before the Olympics rocking the goat leotard in preparation, and that got the rumors starting. She's ready. She's the goat. She knows what's up. She's the bomb. Like, social media was blowing up because of it. Then she gets the Olympics. Everyone's hyped. Like, it's through the roof. The hype train is unbelievable. And then she doesn't do well, and she has to withdraw from the floor. Now she's getting some criticism of why she withdrew, but it's mainly surrounding injury rumors at the time. So now you're writing about Simone maybe having an injury. Then you go to the next day, and she's withdrawing from another competition, citing mental health issues. Well, now this is a completely separate headline that the media tries to capitalize on, when it's not something that should be the focus of the Olympics. It like her mental state should not be the headline of the Olympics. End of story. Yeah, it's a big story that happened, but it's unfair to her that her mental state is the headline that I see on ESPN
That's
right
what I'm
now.
saying. That
That's
goes.
bullshit.
That
And
goes
like,
for-
Well, I
absolutely.
think it also has to do with the fact that it's probably a big issue in the United States.
Mhm.
Like, I'm guessing like Kenya or I don't know, like Spain. This is a big topic, but it isn't their primary concern.
Yeah. It's just the US media loves to just attack with
We love
so much
gossip.
stuff.
Gossip is the main.
Well, the
Is what
US
drives the
wants-
United
that's why, like, that goes for everything, politics, just anything. It's just gossip and opinion. It's like just too like this Simone Biles thing. Yeah, like Johnny just said, he touched on it perfectly. I'm just sick and tired about hearing it. Like, cool, she dropped out. I think that took a lot of guts for her to do. She took it like a man, and no, that's like she took it like a champ, sorry, like a champ. She talked about mental health, and I think there's a lot of athletes that are hiding it.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's the Olympics, man. Like, you're getting watched, like especially if you're a swimmer or a gymnast. Like, if you're like one of the more popular basketball, swimming, gym,
Yeah.
those are especially those sports, because you're getting so much spotlight from the media. Yeah, there should be a lot of mental pressure. So good for her. But again, there are so many other athletes They compete for Team USA, for Australia. Mostly, if you want to focus on USA athletes because we live in America, NBC, then it's the Summer Olympics. There's like 30 sports. Go focus like beach volleyball, like all these sports that like are just as fun to watch. And like just like give some attention to those people. Give some attention. They do, but not like the way they do this to Simone Biles. Like everything she does was like a little like how about this? Ready? Missy May Trainer, Kerry Walsh Jennings, to me the greatest duo in any female sport ever, winning what?
Yeah,
three golds,
something like that.
4 golds,
Unreal,
right? And then you didn't hear like they got hyped up, but they weren't like Simone Biles hyped. Like that's what I'm saying. Like let's just like take it down. Let's focus on other athletes, other female athletes. If you want to focus on female athletes, there's plenty of them. I like Katie Ledecky's another one. I think they hyped up a lot, but Katie Ledecky also performed to her standard. So most of the time. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying she didn't get overhyped, but Katie Ledecky is someone who deserved the hype and she took it well.
Mhm.
I just think again, let's focus. What I'm trying to say here is let's focus. NBC. This goes for NBC in the future. In the next couple of Olympics is let's just focus on the
The athletes,
that
the
are
goals.
I mean, that's exactly what they're doing here.
that are succeeding. Judo.
Right. I guess the point that should be made is I want to hear about Simone Biles' mental health only if Simone Biles wants to talk about it, which she currently is.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see all these other articles criticizing her mental health, criticizing her pulling out of the Olympics.
Well, that's
criticizing
what
on
you have with
Twitter,
everything. I
Instagram.
mean, everyone's going to
It's
talk
just
about it.
ridiculous at this point that she has to just sit here and take whatever BS these articles throw at her, whatever rumors are coming at her, and she's 24, right? 24.
I mean, that's the
Young.
type.
That's
But that's
3
the
years
type of
older than
pressures
me.
you have to go through in the world that we live in, especially as an Olympic athlete, one of the most popular Olympic sports. You have to be able to go through that stuff. It's sad to say that. It's that I wish you didn't. Not everyone was a critic. But look at us right now. Like we're literally making a podcast critiquing other sports. Maybe not
is
her
true.
specifically,
I mean,
but there are millions of people that profit off of just telling people how they feel about an athlete and their decision. That's what comes with it. Look at the NBA players. There's some of them that come out like when LeBron was a freshman. He was straight out of high school and people were already saying, "Oh, he sucks." Like it's not him, it's the team. And you still have he dealt with that every single day up and even until now people are saying, "Oh, like it's never been him, it's been the team he's been about. He's had to chase rings." Things like that you just have to go through. And that's what I think that's what proves you're better than the sport you play in and the people that criticize you is when you can take those rumors, take those people telling you that you aren't shit and just say whatever, like I'm going to do me. And that's what she did when she said, I'm going to do me. I'm not going to play this year. And you're going to have to deal with it. Maybe I come back next year. Maybe
She
I
said she's
participate.
done
still
after
won
this.
2 medals. She still won. Hey,
She
she still
placed
won
this morning. Like that's incredible
2
that she was
medals.
able to relearn and place in an event and get a medal.
And
she's
still won
the best ever, ever. Like there's,
Yeah, for her standards, that's a failure. She still won 2 medals. Like
her goal today. She said, "I wasn't even planning to place. I just wanted to go out and compete for the last time. I somehow got a medal, by the way, but here we are. Like this is all I wanted to do. I just wanted to play. I just wanted to come out, do my thing. If I don't get a medal, I don't get a medal. It doesn't matter." And
that's crazy.
That's an insane mentality, and she still gets a medal.
It's crazy that this is like her last Olympics and she's only 24.
Mm-hmm.
Like where do gymnasts go after when they're not in the Olympics? Like I don't, you don't see any like, oh, there's gonna be the Gymnastic World Series tonight on ESPN.
You know what's crazy?
Like that's not something that you ever really
that's
hear about.
That's what's crazy. So that Geico commercial with Michaela Maroney in it, she's like still so young. Like,
Yeah. So Michaela Maroney's like an influencer. Sean Johnson does Dancing with the Stars, or she did.
Nastia Lukin is in it.
Gabby Douglas does a lot of speaking and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure.
Nasty
And she
Lukin does the
does,
announcing.
yeah. So they do other stuff, but as
Johnny
far
Lawson's
as gymnastics
I just love
goes, I mean, maybe a backflip in the pool, but I don't think they're gonna train much anymore. So
I mean, I mean, the Olympics is just such a it's the best thing in the world. People who don't like
mhm.
it, it's like, why not? It has all these sports. Like, I'm not even like a huge basketball fan of the Olympics. I like watching other sports. I like watching like
Yeah.
handball and like water polo. Like, those are great sports to watch. Like, who doesn't love water polo? Like, come
This
on.
is this is a lot lighter subject, but I was talking about this with one of my friends the other day. It was just kind of, those random talks. But what if you had like an Olympics, but like throughout the universe? So like you had a bunch of like aliens trying to
I
uh
know. You know,
trying to win
is
an
so off
Olympic medal
topic.
versus like
That is so off topic, but I thought about it as a kid. What if we one day we go into space, we find life. What if we all unite? We have like a universal Olympics. That'd be so.
it's like the Rick and Morty episode where they have this big head appears in the sky and he's like dance and just makes them
Oh,
all send
get
out their
Swifty.
best band and just like create a song for them. And then they're like, all right, if your song isn't good enough, your entire planet's gonna explode.
Yeah, no, get Swifty.
Yeah,
It's
I think that was that one. Yeah.
Rick and Morty references. That show can never get old. But that
But
was great.
but like so on a real factor, all right, let's say tomorrow a giant head appears in the sky and says, you have to send one athlete to play in our Olympics. Who are we sending out? On the
Uh,
real, who are we sending to fight for our
I
entire
would say
what I
Simone,
mean,
but
what's
I'm
the
gonna go with
sport?
Katie
Yeah,
Ledecky.
they don't, it's just an all-around like event. I don't know, maybe like one from each, or maybe they don't even tell us.
Katie Ledecky.
No, The Rock.
Oh,
maybe it's like a gladiator event. I don't know.
have like a
Let's-
fencing.
I don't know. I don't know who I'd send.
LeBron James.
I'd probably send LeBron. That logically, that would be the best
Yeah.
answer.
Tom Brady. I mean, maybe.
So, I mean, LeBron's 6'8" and runs like a 18-year-old.
Yeah,
So
he does. He does.
like he would be my pick, I feel.
Giannis.
All right. Let's move away from the Olympic talk because we've been going on for almost an hour for it. Let's get into some trade deadlines for the MLB.
Yeah,
You guys like this?
This MLB trade deadline has been, it's been like I've kind of stopped watching I've been, I've watched a lot of baseball this summer, but with the Olympics, I haven't had as much time. But man, this trade deadline, I got right back into it. I was like, Chris Bryant to the Giants. So
Yeah.
this means to show the Nationals and Cubs guys both kind of blew up their teams, and I was a little surprised because the Nationals, I went to a Nationals game a few weeks ago when I was in DC, and all these fans were saying, "Oh yeah, we just have injuries," and then they shipped their whole team away. So I don't know what they were doing. I mean, I guess but the Dodgers just got more stacked. So F them. I just hate the Dodgers. They
Dodgers
like the Giants. The Giants are good. The Giants get Chris Bryant. That's how
R.I.P. the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, get ready for another.
Safe
20
to say they're in a rebuilding year at this point. Yeah, so I guess let's go down the list of the headlines I typed up. The Italian Americans are coming to save the Yankees.
Anthony
Rizzo
Rizzo.
is a baller. Let's go. He
guys
is
aren't going
nasty.
Yeah, you guys-
Gallo made a nasty catch yesterday. You see that? Man went out like this.
Nowhere.
Boom.
You guys
Yeah.
are still like 8 games off the wild card game. So
We're 3 back. Thank you very much. But
okay, the Red Sox.
know,
Anything
back
for the
up.
Red
Yeah, we
Sox
didn't do
and the
anything
Rays
this
right
right
now.
We got Kyle Schwarber, and I'm fine. You know what? The
well,
Red Sox are gonna win.
currently we are on pace to pass you in the division within the next 2 weeks. So be careful with that one.
We've dominated you guys in every series this year.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Let's
not
not
happy
let's
about
talk
it,
on the Red
but
Sox.
I'm not happy about it, but I usually get to say the opposite, right? So
Yankees got better. Fine.
now it's my time to sit here and take it.
Yeah,
Um,
karma.
The Dodgers making a Diamond Dynasty lineup that I mean, honestly, that team that the Dodgers put together, Elliot Braverman and I drafted a nearly identical team in the franchise mode for MLB The Show.
Wow.
Like, this
Yeah,
team is unbelievable. If you think about it, let's listen to the starting rotation. Scherzer, Kershaw, Bueller, Bauer, and Urias. That's the greatest rotation I've ever heard in my life.
Is Trevor Bauer back from his
No,
weird-
he's not back, but I'm assuming at some point he will be.
He'll be back.
And
yeah.
then you go down the lineup: Mookie, Belly, Trey. I mean, Max
Crazy.
Muncy. Like, there's
Yeah,
like
so
the
I'm looking here. So I'm going on the CBS article by
This
Mike.
lineup is absolutely disgusting.
they're the Golden State Warriors of the MLB. It's insane. And
It's
this is
because
coming
of
from a
how much
Yankee
money
fan.
they have. Like, literally, LA is the biggest market team in any
I hate
sport.
LA.
They've spent $100 million more on salaries than the Yankees, who are in second place at $200 million. They've spent $300 million on salaries this year.
I hate the Dodgers.
It's insane.
I
Well,
can't.
that's just like the
Chicago-
Lakers, man. Like, the Lakers have so much money to just blow on these contracts.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a second, but yeah, I can't believe this has been allowed to happen. The Dodgers are just a lock at this point.
Here's
It's
my
crazy.
thing. So the MLB had some grades in this by the CBS article by Mike Xissa, and he said like the winner, obviously Dodgers are just stacked. The Giants coming right in there too. Chris
First
Bryant,
place team picking up a former MVP. Like, that's perfect for them.
the Giants could contend, and then you that NL the West division is just so good. The Padres are still in contention.
The Padres are still pretty good.
No, he said winner Yankees got Joey Gallo. They got freaking Anthony Rizzo, who the Red Sox should have gotten, but
That one was out of nowhere for us. I was not expecting that trade.
But but in the Blue Jays got Barrios. I mean, again, now you got the Red Sox. They got Jose Barrios. I want him on the Red Sox.
Barrios was nasty in his first start. You see him pitch, he looked good.
The thing is though is, the White Sox got Craig Kimbrell, which I thought was a good move for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, the White Sox for once are the better team in Chicago.
Yeah,
For the first time in like 15 years, the White Sox are dominant.
it's crazy. But that
no,
last
I
part of the Cubs lineup, we got Javi going to the Mets, creating the swaggiest middle infield I've ever seen.
Yep.
With Javi and Lindor, two
Oh,
best friends, you know?
That's a great team. I mean,
Indoors.
Mets are gonna be
amazing.
tough. Hopefully Chris Sale's back in a couple of weeks too for the Red Sox. The Red Sox were just content with what they had, just because I think we have so many good prospects, bro. Like the Red Sox are gonna be dominant, and like I think the Orioles too. Like those are the two teams with the prospects now. The Red Sox rebuild their farm, but we got Kyle Schwarber. We're not winning the World Series though. It's gonna be down to the
The Dodgers and the
Giants,
Dodgers.
or-
It's down to the Dodgers. Let's
I mean,
call it what it is.
Who's
It's
win
the
the
Dodgers.
The Astros? As much as we want to say they cheat, the Astros their bats are just absurd.
I mean, realistically, the teams that would come out of the AL, I got 4. Astros, which I hope not, the Rays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, I think are the only 4 teams that you
don't
could
think
put
the
up
White
against
Sox
the
will pull it off?
Dodgers.
What
I
about
don't think the White in
what about the
1 to
White
2
Sox?
years. 1 to 2 years, the White Sox will pull it off, but I don't think they're ready yet. I think the 4 teams I just talked about, with the amount of experience they have, are the only ones that can match up
White Sox
against
are
the
fine.
Dodgers.
Yeah, the Rays are actually really good. The Rays are very good.
Yeah.
The Rays have 2 of the best young players in the league. Like Alzunia, right? And then they have that what's that kid? He's like 20 years old. Franco. He is a freaking machine.
Wander
Bro.
Franco's nasty.
He is my age. He is 20 years old, and he is like so good.
Yeah, this was arguably the most active trade deadline I've seen.
That's why I was
ever.
like, damn, like
This was
This
insane.
has been a good year for baseball. I've really enjoyed baseball.
Mhm.
And also it's kind of sucked in a way because the NBA and NHL kind of overlapped because it went into the summer. But
Yeah.
once the Olympics ends this week, I cannot wait for these next 2 months of baseball. The 3 months of
Oh,
baseball.
the pennant chase is going to be
Be amazing.
nuts.
This is like
There
last
are
year.
teams that are stacked now, ready to go into this. I
I
thought the
mean,
Yankees were going to be sellers. I hopped on a couple episodes ago. I said I heard the
did,
Yankees
yeah,
are
you did.
sellers, and I'm really upset. I just watched them buy two of
Well,
the best bats in baseball.
We're gonna be in
Crazy.
October when we're talking about baseball. Man, I'm gonna be watching games all day. Like I'll even like go, maybe skip a class. I am just so excited for this MLB playoffs in October. Like
It's going to
this
be
is the most
crazy.
excited I've been because the Red Sox are good. The whole AL East is good except the Orioles. The NL West is absurd. Like 3 teams that could actually win the World Series.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dodgers should win just because of how good they're. Like you said, I think that's a great comparison. They're the Warriors of baseball. But the Giants, I mean, I don't know what the Giants are good this year though. I like how the Giants are coming back. It's gonna be great. This is the Mets got good. Like they got Javi.
Mets are nice.
This Mets
Yep.
team looking. The NL East kind of sucks, but the Mets are good. And then even this, like you got like these division races. Like the NL East is so shitty that like.
Well, it was supposed to be Mets, Phillies, and Braves, but with the Braves, your best player goes down, so that basically just eliminates
The
you.
Braves been a disappointment though, but the Braves got better too.
Yeah. Did you
The
see
Braves
like
got better. The Braves got
Did you see the last picture on Twitter? It was like their last like 20 games, and they legitimately went win loss and through the entire time. So they can't break 500 no matter how hard they try. It's the
I know, the
funniest
Braves
thing I've
got-
ever watched. Like if you just go look at it, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah, and the guys, how about the Milwaukee Brewers, man? The Milwaukee team sleeping. Milwaukee
Sleeper team looking good.
You got that Christian Yelich holding the fort down there. The Brewers, I mean, that's a small market team, but a little maybe even the Packers. You guys looking for 3 championships in Wisconsin this year? It's possible. Packers and Brewers are still looking. With Rogers back, and the Brewers are
Packers won't do
good.
it.
No.
Honestly, neither will the Brewers, but yeah, it's
One
fun
team
thinking
I'll-
about.
Okay, I wasn't like cheering. I was cheering for Chris Paul in the finals. I don't want to see Green Bay win because I'm sick about hearing about Aaron Rodgers, and I just
too.
live with Packer fans every day, so I don't want to deal with them.
Yeah,
But
it's
like,
bad
the
flow.
Brewers are the one team in Wisconsin I really would love to see win. Like that's truly
Yeah.
like the Bucks. It was good, coolest.
I
It
don't
was
think
really
the
cool
Brewers
to see
will go
Bucks win. It
anywhere.
was cool to see the Bucks win. But like the Bucks and Celtics have like this little rivalry. You know what I mean? My friends and I have this little rivalry between the Celtics and Bucks. The Brewers, like we're in different leagues, I guess. So there's no Red Sox Brewers. So I don't care if the Brewers win. It's like it goes for like it's like Pittsburgh too. My mom's from Pittsburgh, and like I hate the Steelers. I respect the Penguins. I respect the kids, Sidney Crosby and Malkin. They've won a lot, but the Bruins and the Penguins have been rivals. The Patriots are one of the Steelers' biggest rivals in the last 20 years. But the Pirates, their team, they suck anyway. But like when they were doing good with McCutcheon, I was cheering for them because they're in the Red Sox and the Pirates are in totally different leagues. So again,
Yeah, it's the team
only
you
team in
support in
the
the
NL
other
that
league. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
only team I truly hate in the NL is the Dodgers. I just can't.
It's just so frustrating. All right, let's wrap up today with some NBA free agency talk. I have the appropriate jersey on for this as my boy Jimmy Buckets is coming back. On top of that,
The
Kyle
near
Lowry,
max
welcome
contract.
to the Heat. D-Rob, nice 90 mil contract. Love it. PJ Tucker, welcome in. I would like to say a heartfelt goodbye to Precious, Goran, and Ariza. I will miss you guys.
Where did Goran
But
go?
I'm excited. I think he's going to the Mavs, maybe.
Okay.
I
So
don't
here,
know.
okay, guys,
Doesn't
I'm gonna
matter.
I'm
He's
gonna
not
go
on the
read
Heat.
the reading. So Kawhi is most likely to go back. Yeah.
He's
No,
staying.
but I was gonna read a couple of things. So Kawhi is obviously, I think he's gonna stay with the Clippers. I think he'll stay in LA, because that's where he's from. But Chris Paul goes back to the Suns for 4 years and up to worth $20 million. So Chris Paul staying loyal to the Suns. I think he wants to go at it one more time. I don't think he's going to, but Go Chris Paul.
No.
Like you said,
agree.
Kyle Lowry. So Johnny, how do you feel about this Kyle Lowry deal? He's 35, 3-year deal for 90 mil. Let's get a hot take on Kyle Lowry.
I like it a lot. It gives us that point guard that, can spread the floor when he needs to and take the shot if he has to. But I also like it because it's almost like a bait to get DeRozan here too.
Yeah,
Using Lowry, which is honestly pretty cool if that happens.
That would be
Watching
crazy.
those two reunite on the Heat
DeRozan go
with
back.
buckets and Bam, like that's.
I think if DeRozan comes to Miami, Miami could honestly win. Could beat the Nets easily.
I'm telling you, with the stacked lineup they're getting in Miami and the stacked lineup that's coming into LA with the Lakers, they're literally trying to recreate the bubble.
Yeah,
and
Lakers-
trying to tell everyone that they're not a quote unquote bubble team.
Yeah. So I just want to keep going down the list a little bit. Mike Conley stays with Utah. I actually wasn't surprised to see that because Mike Conley.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
if Mike Conley was healthy in that
3-year deal.
the Jazz might have won the West. Hot take. Duncan Robinson gets his 5-year deal. Evan Fournier gets overpaid by the Knicks. Good job, New
Mhm.
York. I mean, they were good this year, but Lonzo Ball and Alex
Love
Caruso
it.
came up with
Love
Chicago
it.
making moves.
I love the backcourt of Lonzo and Zach LaVine. That is a backcourt to watch for the
I
next
think that's
couple
gonna be
years.
so much fun. I think
Lonzo's gonna star. He's gonna become a star with LaVine there.
facts. I think with
so.
Lonzo being there, I think he's gonna throw up enough alley oops that Levine can like maybe go back into the dunk competition.
Oh god, like guys, Andre Drummond went to the Sixers. And then actually Dwight Howard went to the Lakers again.
And then of course we got all the trades that went down too.
Gary Trent Jr. went back to the Raptors. Derrick Rose went back to the Knicks. Derrick Rose was good last year. Devontae Graham went to the Pelicans. Oh wow, Devontae Graham left the Hornets. Okay, I'm kind of learning these as we go here. I'm just looking down the list. Zach Collins went to the Spurs.
PJ Tucker to the Heat.
The Heat. That's Johnny. That's another great acquisition for the Heat right there.
I agree. That's a big man that we needed right there.
Kent Bazemore with the Lakers. Kent Bazemore's a great role player. That's a good in Ariza. So Lakers bringing in Wayne Ellington. The Lakers have brought in Wayne Ellington. Like the Lakers are just getting their depth up. Wayne Ellington, Kent Bazemore, and Trevor Ariza. That's okay.
Potentially Melo too.
Oh God.
I mean, that would be sick. Imagine LeBron gets Howard, not really Howard anymore, but mainly Melo, his ring. That would be so cool. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I don't want the Lakers to win. I hate the Lakers, dude. God, I just
LeBron
I like
James.
Carmelo. Like
I don't want Melo to win with the Lakers. I want him to win with like a real team. Like the Lakers just always have good players. It's just not fun.
It's not true. They sucked before LeBron got there.
Yeah, but that's
don't forget it.
I've been saying this for people for years. Oh, the Lakers sucked for 5 years. Big deal. Guess what? The Pistons have been sucking for 15 years. The Hornets
will never be good. By the time the Pistons,
no one wants to go to Detroit. Who wants to go to Detroit?
Kate Cunningham did. Yeah.
He didn't want to. He didn't have a choice.
He's loving it. He's loving it in the town.
I mean, for a couple mil, I may end up there. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Lakers always get good players, dude. They always can sign it. LeBron just
hello.
You hear?
Shaq left the match for the Lakers. Those Shaq Lakers, Kareem went to the Wilt went to the Lakers. Wilt.
Is he okay?
He's gone robot mode.
I think Ben is out.
Always the best players. I'm like enough is enough. Was I breaking up?
Yeah.
Very much so.
The entire thing you just broke up for. That's that was funny. That was good comedy. All right. Now he's muted. This is going downhill so quick. How do we fix this one?
I had to stop. I still on the robot.
What?
I couldn't do. It's gonna be.
What's going on,
Gonna
man?
be like, was Ben a robot?
Bro.
All
All right. I guess Elliot, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Sorry, Ben, but I
Is he gone?
I don't know. He's muted. Wait. Okay, hold on. He's frozen.
Hello.
He said he's texting me. Hold on.
Sorry,
All right, let's just wrap it up on the technical issues. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out our YouTube, Spotify. All of our social media is now in the description, so you can go take a look, follow, do the things. That's it for this episode. We will hopefully see you on Thursday. Maybe Ben will join us if he's not frozen, but yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. So thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Sport Mind Avenue podcast.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on our page. And stay tuned for more of our podcasts and exclusive content in the future.